Jane Fonda's life reads like a novel, intense, layered, full of transformations, and undeniably powerful. As she enters her 87th year, the world continues to marvel at her presence. Not just because she's aged gracefully, but because she's still working, speaking, activating, and looking stunning. Whether you know her from her award-winning films, her political activism, her best-selling fitness tapes, or her more recent work on Netflix's Grace and Frankie, Jane Fonda has never gone quietly into the background. And today, in her late 80s, she remains one of the most formidable, outspoken, and fascinating women in American culture. This video, layered look at her life, spanning decades of personal turmoil, family legacy, fame, cultural revolutions, personal reinvention, battles with disease, and the latest chapter, aging with fierce elegance. Jane Seymour Fonda was born on December 21, 1937, into what seemed like a gilded life. Her father, Henry Fonda, was already a towering presence in Hollywood, celebrated for his roles in films like The Grapes of Wrath. Her mother, Frances Ford Seymour, was a Canadian-American socialite. From the outside, the family had it all: fame, wealth, status. But inside their home, life was complicated. Henry Fonda was emotionally distant, a stoic figure who found it easier to connect with characters on screen than with his own children. Jane later described him as emotionally unavailable and cold, especially during critical times in her early development. Her mother, meanwhile, suffered from mental illness and would tragically die by suicide when Jane was just 12 years old. The trauma from that event left a lifelong imprint on Jane's psyche. Despite the turmoil, Jane's early years were filled with culture, travel, and elite education. She attended prestigious schools, including Emma Willard School in New York, and later studied art in Paris. Her interest in acting came later, and almost as an act of rebellion and self-discovery rather than inheritance. Jane Fonda's first real break came in the early 1960s. After studying acting at the Actors Studio under the legendary Lee Strasberg, she landed her first Broadway role in There Was a Little Girl in 1960, earning a Tony Award nomination. That same year, she made her film debut in Tall Story, opposite Anthony Perkins. In the 1960s, Jane quickly became a Hollywood darling. With her striking cheekbones, icy blue eyes, and a natural charisma, she graced magazine covers and was cast in a string of romantic comedies and dramas. She played everything from ditzy ingenues to rebellious free spirits. But it wasn't until 1968 that Jane truly exploded into international fame with the science fiction cult classic Barbarella, directed by her then-husband Roger Vadim. Dressed in futuristic, revealing costumes, she became a sex symbol overnight. Yet, Barbarella only scratched the surface of Jane's talents. She didn't just want to be ogled, she wanted to be heard. Jane's artistic credibility skyrocketed in the late 1960s and early 1970s. She won her first Academy Award for Best Actress in Clute, 1971, in which she played a call girl with depth, intelligence, and emotional range. The role defined her as a serious actress who was not afraid to challenge social norms or embrace complexity. But it wasn't just acting that defined this era, it was activism. Fonda became an outspoken critic of the Vietnam War. Her 1972 visit to Hanoi, North Vietnam, where she was famously photographed sitting on an anti-aircraft gun, ignited outrage in the United States. Dubbed Hanoi Jane by critics, the event followed her for decades. While many veterans and Americans felt betrayed, Jane insisted her intentions were peaceful, aimed at ending a war she felt was unjust and deadly for all sides. "I made a huge mistake in judgment," she later said, "but my actions came from a place of compassion." While the controversy cost her dearly in terms of public opinion, it also solidified her position as a woman who wouldn't be silenced. She marched in protests, spoke on college campuses, and founded the Indochina Peace Campaign. Even with backlash, she never stopped acting or speaking her truth. By the 1980s, Jane Fonda had shocked the world once again. Not by a political stance or a role, but through aerobics. In 1982, she released Jane Fonda's Workout, a VHS exercise video that became the highest-selling home video of all time at one point. Clad in a tight leotard and leg warmers, Jane led viewers through energetic aerobic routines, encouraging women to feel strong, sexy, and in control of their bodies. The success was massive. She followed it with over 22 workout videos, selling more than 17 million copies worldwide. Jane Fonda didn't just ride the fitness craze, she created it. Her fitness empire funded her political causes and kept her in the public eye, even as she aged. She empowered women to take charge of their health, and her advocacy around fitness expanded into women's rights, body image, and self-worth. This era also saw more acting success. She starred in 9 to 5, 1980, a feminist comedy with Dolly Parton and Lily Tomlin that became a classic. She won her second Oscar for Coming Home, 1978, portraying a woman who falls in love with a paralyzed Vietnam veteran. Fonda was unstoppable. Throughout her life, Jane Fonda wrestled with her relationship with her father, Henry Fonda. Their dynamic, distant, painful, unresolved, reached a turning point when they co-starred in On Golden Pond in 1981. The film was about an aging father and his estranged daughter trying to reconnect. It mirrored their real-life tensions so closely that it was emotionally draining for both. But for Jane, it was cathartic. Just months after filming, Henry Fonda died. He won an Oscar for his role, his first and only Academy Award. Jane accepted it on his behalf, her voice cracking with emotion. That moment was one of closure, albeit bittersweet. Jane also became a mother, raising 3 children, her daughter Vanessa Vadim, son Troy Garrity, and adopted daughter Mary Luana Williams. She openly admitted to struggling with motherhood early on, saying that her own childhood trauma made it difficult to connect. But as the years passed, she worked tirelessly to become the mother she wanted to be, loving, present, and honest. In 1991, Jane Fonda surprised the entertainment world by announcing her retirement from acting. After decades of back-to-back films, social activism, and international fame, she said goodbye to Hollywood. It seemed like a natural exit. After all, she had nothing left to prove. She had 2 Academy Awards, a thriving fitness empire, and a reputation as one of the most politically outspoken and accomplished women in the industry. But Jane wasn't retiring for rest. She stepped away to focus on her 3rd marriage, to billionaire CNN founder Ted Turner. Their relationship was passionate, intense, and ultimately exhausting. Jane later confessed that she lost herself in trying to mold to Turner's world, a world dominated by his fast-paced corporate mindset and constant need for attention. The marriage lasted 10 years and ended in 2001. Divorced and nearly 65 years old, many assumed Jane Fonda would fade into a quiet, dignified retirement. But in true Fonda fashion, she shocked the world yet again with a comeback. Her return began with the 2005 film Monster-in-Law, starring opposite Jennifer Lopez. The film was a box office success, introducing Jane to a new generation. Audiences marveled at her comic timing, vitality, and still striking beauty. She wasn't just back, she was more relevant than ever. Behind her glowing public appearances, Jane Fonda was quietly waging private wars. Over the years, she battled numerous health issues, including breast cancer, skin cancer, and osteoporosis. In 2010, she had a lumpectomy after a breast cancer diagnosis. She was open about the ordeal, choosing transparency over secrecy. "I feel stronger and more connected to my body now than I did at 30, she told the press. Years later, she revealed she had undergone treatment for non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, a type of blood cancer. The diagnosis was grim, but Jane faced it head-on, undergoing chemotherapy and emerging stronger. In 2023, she announced that she was in remission, a victory that sparked admiration worldwide. Jane was also diagnosed with osteoporosis, a disease that weakens bones. Rather than succumb to fragility, she became an advocate for education around the condition, especially for older women. What's remarkable is not just that she fought cancer, but how she did it. She continued filming, attending climate marches, and speaking publicly. Even during chemotherapy, she rarely slowed down. Her Instagram photos showed her with a short gray pixie cut, no wig, and a smile. "This is part of the journey," she said. "This is life." Perhaps one of Jane Fonda's greatest cultural contributions in recent years came with her role in the hit Netflix series Grace and Frankie, which premiered in 2015. Co-starring longtime friend Lily Tomlin, the show followed 2 women in their 70s who rebuild their lives after their husbands fall in love with each other and get married. The concept was bold, but the execution was revolutionary. Jane's portrayal of Grace Hanson, a sharp-tongued, elegant former cosmetics CEO, was deeply personal. It echoed Jane's own real-life balance of toughness, vulnerability, and the hunger for reinvention. The chemistry with Lily Tomlin was magical, and the show became one of Netflix's longest-running and most beloved comedies. More importantly, Grace and Frankie shattered stereotypes about aging. It presented older women as sexually active, entrepreneurial, fashionable, and emotionally complex. It wasn't a retirement sitcom, it was a declaration of freedom for older women everywhere. By the time the show ended in 2022, Jane was in her mid-80s, and her influence on age representation in Hollywood had reached a new peak. She wasn't a relic of the past. She was a trailblazer of the future. At 87 years old, Jane Fonda's appearance still causes jaws to drop. She maintains an elegant, classic style, often appearing in tailored suits, soft pastel tones, or bold reds that match her personality. Her face, lined with age and experience, is still striking. Yes, she's had plastic surgery, and she's never lied about it. But she's also spoken out against unrealistic beauty standards. "I'm not going to lie about having work done," she once said. "But I've stopped. I don't want to look distorted. I want to age gracefully now." Grace, in Jane Fonda's world, means authenticity, health, and purpose. She meditates, exercises regularly with modifications, eats a plant-based diet, and surrounds herself with people and projects that bring her joy. She also spends hours each week on activism, especially environmental and climate justice. Her Fire Drill Fridays, a protest campaign demanding urgent climate action, has gotten her arrested multiple times, including at age 81. "This is the most important fight of our lives," she says. More recently, she's voiced her support for reproductive rights, LGBTQ+ inclusion, and indigenous justice. Jane Fonda isn't slowing down, she's doubling down. She also continues to post candid videos and updates on social media, where she's beloved by Gen Z and millennials for her wit, honesty, and effortless charm. In one viral clip, she dances to a TikTok trend. In another, she delivers a scathing critique of political inaction on climate change. Her presence today is not just admired, it's celebrated. She is a cultural beacon, a living symbol that aging doesn't mean fading. It can mean leading. So, why do people gasp when they see Jane Fonda at 87? It's not just because she looks fabulous, though that's certainly true. It's because she defies the expectations of what 87 is supposed to look and feel like. Most celebrities drift away by their 80s, their final headlines accompanied by nostalgic tributes. Jane, however, remains active, visible, and powerful. She isn't defined by her past. She's constantly creating her present. When you see her walking a red carpet in silver hair and a dazzling gown, or being handcuffed outside the Capitol during a protest, or laughing beside Lily Tomlin on a talk show, you see a woman who has embraced every inch of her journey. From grief-stricken childhood to Oscar-winning stardom, from vilification to vindication, from fitness queen to climate warrior, Jane Fonda has rewritten every chapter of her story. And she's not done yet. Yes, she's 87. Yes, she's a grandmother. But make no mistake, Jane Fonda is still a force. Thanks for watching. If Jane Fonda's incredible journey at 87 inspired you, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more powerful stories of icons who continue to defy time, expectations, and limitations. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a new about the lives of the world's most legendary figures. Got thoughts on Jane's life, her activism, or her timeless style? Let us know in the comments below. We love hearing from you.